Welcome back, guys. We are now on part 8 of our Disco Enterprise refit build, so let's stop jibber-jabbering and get right to work. So I went ahead and repainted the upper part of the saucer here. You can see a little bumpage going on right there. That is because I went and used hot glue on the other side, and it warped the plastic. There is not much I can do about that now, so I'm just going to have to live with that little bump being there. But as you can see, after a nice wet sanding or two and 2 or 3 coats of paint, the shine on this is now very, very nice. I also got the painting done on our nacelles here. You can see, nice and shiny, top to bottom. I still have to go back in and detail paint, like the blue up in here and the blue on our fin over here, or on the back side. Yeah, this paint is awesome, but very, very testy. You have to be super careful, otherwise it will chip and flake like crazy. I want to get several coats of clear on this before I go back and do the detail painting. I was getting major light bleed through the copper of these sections that go on the nacelle, and I didn't want that. I wanted the copper to be opaque. So I stripped off the paint, and I went back in with my Maltef chrome pen to light block. Over that, I did a nice thick coat of our Deco Art metallic copper. And then just to be sure, on top of that, I sealed it with a gloss coat. On our impulse engines, I installed these red transparencies. I really like the color and the shine you get through these. I also use these on my Defiant build. Now, these are simply parts of a tech spec recorder from our old Transformer toys. You can see this one here. This one here is a vintage one, and the one that I used on this is a repo. Didn't want to use the vintage one on this project. So, remember those neat little photo etch parts I had for the inserts? Yeah, those, they're somewhere safe. They're not lost. They're somewhere safe. I will never find them again, but they are safe wherever they are. Wherever that is, I put them. So we're going to be using these decals instead. These are from the HDA Model Works set. I have extras because I used the photo etch on my other build, but these came with the really cool decals I bought from there. And this is what they look like after installation. I think they look pretty nice. They're not photo etch, but they'll do the job. This is after microsol and microset, and I put a little bit of a gloss coat on top of them to give them a shine. I redetailed our sensor dome. I added Maltef chrome pen to several sections of this. The little rectangles that jut out from the cardinal directions on this got chrome, as did the trim around our main sections where the light is. It isn't showing up on camera, but it looks really cool in person. I also repainted the recesses black as a nice contrast. I now have all the wiring done for the lower saucer. Everything is tied together. We have one long string going around the perimeter for our main lights and another for our flashers. I still have to install our little sensor dome here before we can finalize this. Here's a quick little lighting test for you. We have our RCS thrusters and our impulse engines and our windows all lit up. And here are all 3 of our flashers lit up. And there is our sensor dome finally installed and in place. A little bit of a light leak along that edge, but otherwise it went in there just fine. One last lighting test before we move forward. You can see that sensor dome looks really nice, all lit up and tied into our main lights. We have these neat little recessed lights that I put in there. We also have our normal lights that do light up the edges of our saucer in lower light, and our phaser banks are lit up as well. But now it's time to move on to soldering this whole thing together. have everything soldered together. Everything is tied in. We hot glued all these things down, and I only used 7 glue sticks for this one. And now I have the top part of the saucer all tied together in this giant spaghetti mess. We have our main lights here with our RCS thrusters and our impulse crystal. The rest of this mess are flashers, all 7 of them. A quick lighting test to make sure I didn't fudge any of the wiring. There are all our mains. We have our impulse crystal, we have our RCS, we have our bridge, and our nice registry light going on. And here is a test for our flashers. You can see we have our 3 main ones there, and our added ones there, and those back ones there. And here is the top of the saucer all done, our wires all compact and neat. Mains on the right, the flashers going out on the left. We still have to do something with our phaser arrays, but I'm not going to tell you what that is. Here's a hint. Yeah, I think I only used 12 pounds of hot glue on this, so that'll make the saucer a very hefty little thing to deal with. And that is the majority of the lighting done for our saucer section. I still have to go back in, do a few little things here and there. We still have to get that bridge installed. Sorry I didn't show that bridge off or lighting it. I had a little snafu with the paint. Rubbed off most of that blue, had to put blue back on. That paint takes a while to dry, so I'm not even going to look at it funny for a few days. But next week, we will be starting on our interior sets, like this officer's lounge, which will not be an officer's lounge. We will also be doing an interior set on the arboretum, which will not be an arboretum. But until next week, I want to say thanks everyone for watching. Thank all my new subs. Thanks all my old subs. You guys are rad. And until next week, everyone, take care.